a.m. That strange space where the night still feels heavy, but the light is already pushing through. Birds start warming up, streets still quiet, sky still dark, but the horizon whispers that something is shifting. This is the moment where breakthrough lives. And this is the moment most people quit. See, 5:59 is the last minute before sunrise. The darkest moment right before the light cracks open. And that's where some of us living right now, standing at the edge of promise, but so tired, so worn, so discouraged, we ready to walk away. We think it's been too long, I prayed too much, I waited too hard, maybe it ain't coming. And the tragedy is, most quit right before the dawn hits. But I came to remind you today, don't quit at 5:59. Don't throw in the towel just because the night lingered longer than you expected. Don't pack up your faith just because the prayer ain't answered yet. Dawn is on schedule, whether you feel it or not. And what you can't see is how close you really are. One more minute, one more step, one more breath. That's all that stands between darkness and light. So as we step into this hour, I need you to hold this image. Your life at 5:59. Pressure high, strength low, but breakthrough right at the door. And this sermon, this hour together, is going to be your reminder that the clock is still moving. Your dawn is still scheduled. And you ain't crazy for holding on. You strategic for lasting this long. Don't quit now, fam. Don't stop here. The same God who wrote your midnight is the same God who scripted your morning. And the author don't end stories in the dark. Fam, let's anchor this dawn moment in the word. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." That's Paul talking straight to the 5:59 heart. Tired, worn out, feeling like the harvest ain't never gonna come. But he says, hold steady. Don't faint. Don't fold. Don't quit before the proper time. Notice the detail, the proper time. Not your time, not their time, God's time. Which means there is a schedule for your breakthrough. There is a harvest already marked on heaven's calendar. And just because you don't see the crop yet, don't mean the seed didn't take root. You've been sowing in faith, sowing in prayer, sowing in obedience, and heaven been watching. The delay ain't denial, it's just growth underground. And here's the part that messes us up. If we do not give up, that's the hinge. The harvest is guaranteed, but the timing tests your endurance. The enemy don't fight you hardest when you plant the seed. He fights you hardest when you closest to reaping. That's why at 5:59, your mind tells you it's pointless. That's why your flesh screams it ain't working. That's why the night feels longest right before the light breaks. But Paul's words stand. Don't grow weary. Weariness is natural, but don't let it make you quit. You might wobble, but don't walk away. You might cry, but don't collapse. Because the proper time is coming, and if you stay rooted, you're going to see it. So keep this locked in your spirit. Your dawn ain't random, it's scheduled. Your harvest ain't maybe, it's promised. And Galatians 6:9 is your 5:59 reminder. Don't quit now, because breakthrough is on the clock. Fam, let me give you a picture. You ever heard about the student who almost dropped out right before the exam that would have changed their whole story? Months of late nights, pages of notes, coffee cups stacked high, and still every time they opened the book, it felt like nothing was sticking. Every lecture sounded like noise, every assignment looked like failure. And somewhere around 5:59 in their journey, they thought, why keep trying? I'm done. But what they didn't know was this. The material had been sinking in all along. The repetition was working, even when they couldn't feel it. The late nights were building muscle memory, even when it looked pointless. And when test day came, the answers flowed like second nature. That student passed, not because they never struggled, but because they didn't quit when it felt useless. That's life at 5:59. You think you studied in vain. You think all those prayers, all those sacrifices, all that consistency ain't doing nothing. But what you can't see is how much is already rooted inside you. How the Spirit been bringing back to memory every verse you read, every word you prayed, every seed you sowed. And when the test shows up, you gonna discover you more ready than you thought. Breakthrough ain't about never getting tired. It's about staying just long enough to see the payoff. And like that student, you might feel empty-headed in the midnight hours, but you full of preparation. Heaven been pouring in. Don't quit now, fam. Your exam moment is coming, and when it hits, you're gonna realize every tear, every hour, every effort was loading you up for the pass. Fam, think about the entrepreneur, the one who poured everything into a vision. Sleepless nights, maxed out credit cards, business plans scribbled on napkins, pitches that got rejected more times than they could count. They hustled, prayed, sacrificed, and still it looked like nothing was moving. Bills stacking, doors closing, voices saying, maybe this ain't for you. By the time it hit 5:59 in their grind, they were ready to fold, ready to walk away from the dream. But here's what they didn't know. While they were losing sleep, the seed was taking root. The rejection was shaping resilience. The failures were teaching strategy. And while they thought they were invisible, somebody had been watching. One investor, one customer, one open door. That's all it took. And the very week they almost quit was the week the phone rang, the door cracked, the breakthrough came. And that's how God works, fam. He lets us walk to the edge of 5:59 to see if we trust him enough to stay. Not to punish, but to prepare. Because breakthrough ain't just about the opportunity, it's about the character to carry it. And if that entrepreneur had quit in the last minute, they would have missed the fruit of all those years of grind. And that's you right now. You looking at your dream, your purpose, your calling, wondering if it's even worth another prayer, another effort, another step. And God's whispering, don't quit yet. You closer than you think. The open door is already in motion. The phone call already on the way. The opportunity already knocking. But it only meets you if you're still standing at 6 o'clock. So hold on. The same God who brought entrepreneurs through the fire is the same God who's holding your vision. Don't fold at 5:59. Your door is next. Fam, let's make it plain. Prayer got a way of testing your stamina. Some of us been on our knees so long, we wonder if heaven muted us. You pray for healing and the pain's still there. You pray for provision and the bills still pile. You pray for direction and the silence feel louder than ever. And right when the answer about to break through, that's when the temptation comes to walk away at 5:59. Picture this. Somebody bowed down, tears on the floor, praying for breakthrough. They cry out, Lord, please move. And in the unseen, angels already dispatched, the answer already en route, the shift already written. But the clock reads 5:59. They too weary, too drained, too discouraged. They rise up, walk away, and never realize that at 6 o'clock, the answer was scheduled to arrive. That's why Jesus told the parable in Luke 18 about the persistent widow. She kept knocking, kept petitioning, kept showing up until justice came. Not because she was the loudest, but because she refused to quit. Persistence pulls promises into the present. But quit too soon, and you miss what was already yours. And fam, that's the danger of leaving prayer 1 minute early. You don't see what's happening in the heavenlies, so you assume nothing's working. But Daniel prayed and the angel told him, your prayer was heard the first day, but I was held up in battle. Imagine if Daniel had stopped before the fight in the unseen was finished. he would have missed the very answer that was already his. So don't walk away from the altar at 5:59. Don't silence your prayer life just because the clock feels long. The answer may be knocking at 6 o'clock, and all God asking is, will you still be here when it arrives? Fam, let's keep it a buck. Waiting wears you down. Not the first day, not the first week. It's when days turn into months, when months slide into years. That's when your spirit gets heavy. You start strong, full of faith, confessing promises, singing worship songs. But somewhere around 5:59, the weight of time starts leaning on your back, and it feels like your knees gon' buckle. Exhaustion at 5:59 is different. It's not just tired in your body, it's tired in your soul. You done prayed the same prayer so many times you feel numb saying it again. You done hope so hard your hope feels stretched thin. And deep down you whisper, God, how much longer? Not in rebellion, but in desperation. And that's the subtle danger. The weariness don't just slow you down, it tempts you to quit. It makes you think, maybe I misheard God. Maybe the promise expired. Maybe my faith was foolish. And so you stand at the edge of your breakthrough, ready to walk away. Not because you don't love God, but because you too drained to keep waiting. But here's the trap. Weariness lies. It tells you the clock don't matter, when in reality, you seconds away from dawn. It tells you surrender means relief, when in truth, surrender too soon means loss. And if the enemy can't steal your seed, he'll try to steal your stamina. If he can't uproot your faith, he'll try to wear it thin until you let go. Exhaustion at 5:59 is real, but it's not final. Isaiah 40:31 promises, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, which means the very act of waiting ain't killing you. It's refueling you. You may feel weak, but heaven sees you as stronger than you ever been. And that's why this last stretch matters most. Fam, don't misinterpret your exhaustion. It's not proof you losing. It's proof you close. And if you can push through the final minutes, you're going to see the dawn that weariness tried to hide. Fam, let's call it what it is. The final stretch is where the enemy get loudest. At 5:59, when you seconds away from breakthrough, that's when the lies hit hardest. He don't waste energy at midnight when you just starting the fight. He wait until you exhausted, worn, empty. Then he shows up with whispers designed to make you let go right before the shift. What's he say? You wasted your time. God forgot about you. Everybody else moving forward but you. If the answer was coming, it would have come by now. Lies, fam, all of them. But when you're tired, lies sound like logic. And that's the trick. The devil don't just lie, he makes it sound reasonable. He'll point at your past failures and say, see, it's always gonna end like this. He'll point at the clock and say, if it ain't happened yet, it ain't happening. He'll point at other people's wins and say, God blessing them, but not you. And before you know it, you start nodding your head to his playlist of deception. But here's the truth. The louder the lies, the closer the dawn. The enemy ain't omniscient, but he can sense movement. And when he feels heaven's about to break through on your behalf, he throws everything at you in the last minute to get you to quit. If he can't stop the sunrise, he'll try to stop you from standing long enough to see it. That's why Ephesians 6:13 says, after you have done everything to stand, sometimes the greatest victory ain't swinging harder, it's standing longer. It's saying, devil, I hear your lies, but I'm still planted. It's choosing to believe God's word louder than the whispers of doubt. Fam, the lies at 5:59 are designed to break your faith. But if you recognize them for what they are, they actually confirm the opposite. They prove you're too close for comfort. They prove dawn is already pushing through. So don't bow to the whispers. Use them as proof that your breakthrough is minutes away. Fam, let's be real. Delay got a weight all its own. It don't just stall your plans. It presses on your faith like a heavy load. Every day that passes without an answer feels like another brick on your shoulders. You start out saying, God, I trust you. But as the weeks stretch into months, trust gets tested. And by the time it's 5:59, your arms trembling from carrying what feels like unanswered hope, delay whispers louder than failure. At least with failure, you know where you stand. But delay, it leaves you hanging in the in-between. Not yet, but not over. Not closed, but not open. That limbo space is what drains faith the most, because your mind wants clarity, but God teaches endurance, and delay births questions. Did I miss God's voice? Should I have done something different? Maybe it wasn't for me after all. Those questions feel heavier at 5:59 when you so close to the edge of breakthrough but can't see it yet. And if you're not careful, delay will convince you to abandon what was always meant to be yours. But here's the truth. Delay ain't denial. Habakkuk 2:3 says, though the vision tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay. That's God talking. He don't miss deadlines. The vision might take longer than you thought, but it ain't canceled. The harvest might sprout later than you planned, but it ain't dead. Delay don't change the destination, it just shapes the traveler. Fam, delay is the gym where faith builds muscle. It stretches your patience, strengthens your prayer life, sharpens your focus. What looks like stalling is actually training. And if you can survive the press of delay, you gon' step into the promise with a strength you wouldn't have had otherwise. So don't let the weight of waiting crush you. Don't let 5:59 convince you the clock froze. Dawn is still on schedule, and delay don't disqualify the promise. It confirms you worth the wait. Fam, let's be honest, underneath the exhaustion, underneath the lies, underneath the delay, there's a deeper fear. What if dawn don't come at all? What if I've been praying into emptiness? What if I've been hoping for nothing? That fear creeps in quiet, but when it grabs hold, it shakes your whole foundation. At 5:59, the night feels so real, you start thinking maybe it's permanent. You open your eyes and it's still dark. You check your heart and it's still heavy, late. You look at your situation and it's still stuck. And the fear whispers, this is forever. This is your story now. Light ain't coming. That fear is paralyzing. It makes you hesitant to pray again. It makes you scared to hope because you don't want to be disappointed twice. It makes you settle for survival instead of pushing toward breakthrough. And little by little, it convinces you to stop expecting anything at all. But fam, hear me, the dawn is non-negotiable. Genesis 8:22 says, as long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. That means dawn ain't optional, it's covenant. The same God who set the sun in motion is the same God who set your breakthrough in motion. Darkness don't get the final word, light does. Psalm 30 verse 5 reminds us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Not maybe, not sometimes, it comes. Morning is a guarantee. And if God tied joy to the rising of the sun, then you can rest assured your night season got an expiration date. So when fear says the dawn won't come, answer back with covenant. When doubt says this is permanent, answer back with promise. And when 5:59 feels like the end, declare, nah, it's just the prelude to 600. Fam, dawn is inevitable. The only question is, will you still be standing to see it? Fam, here's the pivot. 5:59 don't mean you failed. It don't mean God forgot. It don't mean the promise expired. It means you 1 minute away from light breaking through. The very fact you still standing in the dark is evidence you're close to the dawn. Think about it. Nobody feels 5:59 at midnight. Midnight struggles feel heavy, but they still early. You don't sense the pushback the same way. But when it's 5:59, that's when the tension is highest, the lies are loudest, the tears are heaviest. Why? Because you're closer than you've ever been. Pressure increases right before breakthrough. So instead of seeing 5:59 as proof you're abandoned, see it as confirmation you're on the verge. You don't push this hard unless the finish line is near. You don't feel this stretched unless the birth is about to happen. You don't cry this deep unless the joy is right around the corner. The pain is not punishment, it's pregnancy. Something is crowning. And dawn is the delivery room. Romans 13:12 says, the night is nearly over, the day is almost here. That's 5:59 talk. The night been long, but it's not eternal. The day is not a maybe. It's almost here. And your faith right now is the bridge between almost and arrival. Don't step off the bridge when you seconds away from the other side. Fam, flip the script. 5:59 ain't hopeless, it's hopeful. It's the countdown, not the cancellation. It's the moment where God whispers, hold on a little longer. The shift is already rising. And if you can see your 5:59 as proof instead of punishment, your endurance gonna multiply. So here's the truth. If it hurts this much, if it feels this close to breaking, if the weight feels unbearable, that's not abandonment, that's confirmation. You at 5:59, and dawn is minutes away. Fam, let's lock in on this truth. God is the timekeeper. He don't miss appointments. He don't fumble schedules. He don't show up late. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. That means your dawn ain't random, it's regulated. Heaven got your sunrise marked on the clock. See, we get frustrated at 5:59 because we running on human time. We think if it don't happen in our window, it ain't gonna happen at all. But God operates on eternal time, not anxious time. He ain't reacting to situations. He orchestrating them. Which means while you stressing about the delay, he already setting the stage so that when the sun rises, everything lines up. Think of it like a symphony. Every instrument got an entrance. The strings don't rush in before the horns. The percussion don't bang before the conductor points. And just like that, your life is orchestrated by the master conductor. You might not hear the music yet, but trust, when your cue hits, the sound gon' swell, the moment gon' align, the breakthrough gon' drop right on beat. And let's be clear, God ain't never been early or late. He split the Red Sea at the exact step Israel needed. He sent manna at the exact morning they hungered. He raised Jesus on the exact day prophecy demanded. He keeps time better than any clock. And if he kept schedule then, he's still keeping schedule now. So at 5:59, don't let impatience trick you into thinking God's sloppy with time. He ain't. He's precise. And if the clock's still ticking, it means the appointment ain't passed. It's pending. And when the clock strikes 6, not even the gates of hell can hold back what he already scheduled. Fam, your dawn is not late. It's locked. Heaven already circled it on the calendar, and the timekeeper never misses his cue. Fam, let's run it back to Acts 16. Paul and Silas locked up in a Philippian jail. Their feet chained, their backs bruised, their future uncertain. Midnight hit, and instead of complaining, they started singing. Prayers went up, worship filled the cell, and at just the right moment, the ground shook. Doors flew open. Chains fell loose. Breakthrough hit right on schedule. Now catch this, they didn't see it coming. They had no countdown clock, no angel whispering, hold on, it's almost time. All they had was pain, chains, and choice. But at the appointed hour, God showed up. Not early, not late, exactly on cue. And here's the key. What unlocked their breakthrough wasn't perfect circumstances. It was persistent praise. They sang in the dark, and God moved in the dawn. They praised at 5:59, and freedom struck at 6 o'clock. That's not coincidence. That's covenant. God responds to faith that refuses to fold under pressure. Some of y'all at 5:59 right now, bound up, discouraged, wondering if freedom even possible. And God's saying, sing anyway, pray anyway, trust anyway, because your midnight don't dictate the schedule. He does. And when heaven decides it's time, no guard, no gate, no chain can hold back the shift. Fam, Acts 16 is proof God knows exactly when to flip the script. If he shook open jail doors for Paul and Silas, he can shake loose whatever's been holding you. And if they didn't quit in the darkest hour, neither should you. Keep singing, even in the silence. Keep praying, even in the pressure, because your dawn is just a praise away. Fam, here's what you got to see. Delay don't mean punishment. It often means preparation. The waiting room ain't wasted space. It's a workshop. God ain't stalling you to stress you. He's shaping you to strengthen you. What looks like 5:59 frustration is actually heaven making sure you're ready for the 6 o'clock blessing. Think about it. Some doors take time to build. Some platforms take time to set. Some promises would crush you if you stepped into them too early. So God, in his mercy, lets the clock stretch. Not 'cause he cruel, but 'cause he kind. He know what you carrying, and he won't let you walk into destiny without the capacity to hold it. Look at David, anointed as king in the field, but didn't touch the throne until years later. Why? 'Cause he needed lions and bears to train his hands. He needed Goliath to prove his courage. He needed Saul to sharpen his patience. The crown was promised, but the wait was preparation. By the time he sat on the throne, he wasn't just a boy with oil. He was a king with wisdom. That's how God works. The waiting season is the seasoning. It flavors your faith. It toughens your trust. It matures your mindset. So when 6 o'clock comes, you don't just receive the blessing, you can sustain it. Fam, don't confuse delay with denial. If you still breathing, if the promise still burning, it ain't canceled, it's cooking. And just like bread in the oven, you can't pull it out too soon or it collapses. God loves you too much to serve your destiny half-baked. So lift your head at 5:59 and say, this ain't punishment, it's prep. Because the very things you think are stalling, you are the things God using to ready you. And when dawn breaks, you're going to realize the weight didn't weaken you, it weaponized you. Fam, let's land this remix with a promise that never expires. Psalm 35. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That verse is the heartbeat of 5:59. You cried, you wrestled, you waited, but mourning is not optional, it's scheduled. And with mourning comes joy. Notice the flow. The verse don't say weeping might endure, it says it will. Tears are part of the process. Pain is part of the night. You can't faith your way out of every tear. But the verse also says joy comes. Not maybe, not sometimes, it comes. Just like the sunrise, joy is covenant. It's bound by creation itself. And don't miss the timing. Joy don't cancel the night, it follows it. Which means your tears weren't proof you lacked faith, they were proof you were in process. The weeping wasn't wasted, it was the setup for the joy. Without the night, you wouldn't know the sweetness of the morning. Without the tears, you wouldn't know the power of laughter. Without the sorrow, you wouldn't know the depth of joy. Think of it like this: night and morning are a package deal. You don't get one without the other. But no matter how long the night feels, it can't overstay its time. Dawn always shows up, and with dawn comes the shift in atmosphere, the breaking of heaviness, the flood of joy that was promised from the start. Fam, that's why you can't quit at 5:59. The verse says joy is on the way. You may not feel it, but it's already moving. You may not see it, but it's already rising. You may still be weeping, but joy is already walking toward you with the sunrise. So hold on. Your 5:59 ain't forever. The night had its turn, but joy has the last word. And joy is already knocking at your door with the morning light. Fam, let's pull up some receipts from the word. Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a son. But years passed. Decades even. Their bodies aged, their hope wavered, their faith got tested at 5:59 for what felt like a lifetime. Sarah even laughed when God reminded her because it sounded impossible by then. But Genesis 21 says, "The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken." Translation: dawn came. Isaac was born right on time, not their time, but God's. And then Elijah in 1 Kings 18. He declared rain was coming after years of drought. But when he sent his servant to look, the sky was clear. First time, nothing. Second time, still nothing. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, nothing. Imagine the pressure at 5:59 in that moment. But on the seventh time, the servant came back saying, "I see a cloud the size of a man's hand." That little cloud was the start of a flood. Dawn was breaking. See, both Abraham and Elijah show us the same truth. You can't measure God's timing by your clock. You can't call it over just because the night feels long. What he promises, he performs. Even if it takes decades like Abraham. Even if it takes multiple tries like Elijah. Dawn is not denied, it's delayed. And delay is just set up for greater glory. So here's the remix. If Abraham can hold on for decades, if Elijah can keep sending the servant back 6 times, surely we can endure our 5:59. Their dawn came, and so will yours. Because the God of Isaac, the God of rain, is still the God of your morning. Fam, here's the first challenge for this dawn hour. Make a declaration and repeat it until your spirit believes it. Words shape worlds. Life and death sit in the power of the tongue. And if you're going to survive 5:59, you got to train your mouth to speak hope louder than fear. Here's your line: I will not quit before my dawn. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you feel weary. Say it when the night feels endless. Let it echo until it drowns out every whisper of doubt. Cause declaration creates determination, and determination fuels endurance. But don't just say it, write it. Put it on your mirror, your dashboard, your phone wallpaper. Anywhere your eyes land, let that reminder stare back at you. I will not quit before my dawn. That way, when the enemy throws lies at your mind, your environment answers for you. Second step, pair your declaration with scripture. Galatians 6:9, Psalm 35, Romans 13:12. Every time you speak the line, back it up with the word. Because your declaration ain't just positive thinking, it's covenant speaking. And when your words line up with his word, heaven backs you up. Third step, teach your body to follow your mouth. That means when you say, I won't quit, you still show up, still pray, still serve, still push. Even if you limping, Even if you dragging, you keep moving. Your actions become proof that your words got roots. Fam, 559 is loud with lies, but your declaration can be louder. And when your mouth, your mind, and your movements all align with faith, darkness loses its grip. So take this challenge today. Don't just think it. Don't just hope it. Declare it. I will not quit before my dawn. And let those words carry you straight into the light. Fam, the second challenge for 559 living is this. Learn how to worship while you wait. Anybody can sing when the sun's up. Anybody can praise when the miracle shows. But dawn chasers got to learn how to lift their voice in the dark when the chains still clank, when the answer ain't dropped, when the clock still reads 5:59. Here's the truth. Worship is warfare. Every song you sing in the dark is like a strike against despair. Every hallelujah you whisper when you don't feel it is a dagger in the heart of doubt. Worship recenters your soul. It tells your spirit, we still got a reason to stand. And it tells the enemy, you won't steal my praise, even if you try to steal my hope. Practical move, make a waiting playlist. Fill it with songs that remind you of his faithfulness, his promises, his timing. And every time you feel weary, press play. Don't just let the lyrics wash over you. Sing them out loud. Let your walls hear you. Let your atmosphere know where your hope stands. Second move, turn prayer into praise. Instead of always saying, Lord, when will you? Try saying, Lord, thank you that you will. That's the shift from desperation to expectation. And that shift unlocks peace in the middle of delay. Third move, worship with your body. Lift your hands in your room. Dance in your kitchen. Kneel by your bed. Don't wait for a stage or a service. Build altars of worship right where you stand. That rhythm trains your soul to find dawn even when the sky still looks dark. Fam, worship don't shorten the wait, but it sweetens it. It don't erase 5:59, but it redefines it. And by the time 6 hits, you won't just celebrate the breakthrough, you'll thank God for the rhythm that carried you there. Fam, here's the last challenge for this dawn hour. Commit to one more prayer, one more step, one more day of faith. Because sometimes the only difference between breakdown and breakthrough is the decision to go one more round. When you at 5:59, everything in you screams, I'm done. Your body tired, your emotions drained, your spirit stretched. But faith don't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it looks like stubborn endurance. Sometimes victory ain't shouting loud, it's whispering, I'll try again tomorrow. Here's the move. When you feel like quitting, pause and ask, can I give God one more? One more prayer before I walk away. One more song before I sink into despair. One more act of obedience before I close the book. That one more could be the key that flips 5:59 into 6:00. Think about Joshua and the walls of Jericho. God told Israel, march 7 times. Imagine if they quit at lap 6. They were one round away from the shout that shook the walls, but they endured one more. And the breakthrough came. Fam, you might be on lap 6 right now. You might be praying the same prayer for the 100th time. You might be walking circles around promises that still look sealed shut. But don't you dare stop one lap early. Don't you quit one step before the wall falls. Don't you walk away 1 minute before the dawn breaks. So here's your challenge. Whatever feels stuck, give it one more. Push one more round. Whisper one more prayer. Stand one more day. And when the clock strikes 6, you gonna thank yourself for not folding at 5:59. Fam, here's my charge for you. Don't you dare quit at 5:59, not when you already survived the midnight hours, not when you already pressed through storms that tried to drown you, not when you closer than you ever been. The fact that you still here, still breathing, still listening, that's proof you got enough in you to see the sunrise. I know you tired. I know you prayed and it felt like nothing changed. I know the wait been long and the silence been heavy. But hear me, dawn is on schedule. And your assignment is simple. Hold your ground until it breaks. You don't gotta fix it all. You don't gotta see it all. You just gotta endure until the light shows up. And fam, when that light comes, it's gonna expose how close you were all along. You're gonna look back and realize 559 wasn't punishment, it was positioning. The darkness wasn't abandonment, it was setup. The delay wasn't denial, it was development. And the dawn was never in doubt, it was always guaranteed. So lift your head, even with tears in your eyes. Square your shoulders, even if your body's still weary. Tell yourself, I will not quit before my dawn. And let that be your anthem every time the night feels endless. 'Cause joy is closer than it feels. The light is nearer than it looks. And your breakthrough is closer than you think. Fam, you survived the night. You're gonna step into the morning. So don't quit now. Don't stop here. The God who kept you in darkness is the same God who gonna reveal you in light. And 559 ain't your ending, it's your evidence. Dawn is already rising. Fam, as this 5 a.m. breakthrough dawn block closes, let me leave you with this. Your night didn't last forever, and it never will. Every dark season got an expiration date. Every midnight test got a morning attached to it. And right now, you standing at the edge of dawn. The clock might still read 5:59, but trust me, the sun already rising. Don't you let the exhaustion lie to you. Don't you let delay define you. Don't you let fear convince you the light ain't coming. Your faith survived the long night. It can survive one more minute. And that one more minute is all it takes for God to flip your story. So here's the blessing. Walk out of this hour with hope burning in your chest. Every step you take from here is a step closer to joy. Every breath you breathe is proof that purpose still got your name on it. And every second you hold on is a countdown to breakthrough. You not abandoned, you not forgotten, you not late, you right on schedule. Fam, dawn belongs to you. Joy belongs to you. Breakthrough belongs to you. And when the clock strikes 6, the same God who held you in the dark is the same God who gonna reveal his glory in the light. You made it through the night. You will not quit before your dawn. This ain't your Sunday school. This is YNB spiritual.